are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, family and friends. I am the Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel Jordan. Let's talk about the effects of fasting or caloric restriction in fighting cancer. It makes the cancer cells eat themselves because cancer cells thrive off of sugar. And sugar is the broken down form of carbohydrates, which, of course, we should be eating complex carbs, which I detail in the 12-part series, The Power of the G Bombs. The great ones have watched that whole series. So, fasting, I always talk about don't snack in between meals. The importance of that's called intermittent fasting, just no snacking in between meals. People adding all these fancy names. You don't have to dive right into full blown water fasting. Just start with not eating in between meals. For most Americans, that's too much to handle. See toxic hunger on that issue. So we have all these diets thrown around. Most of them are hoax. But we do know for a fact that caloric restriction causes cancer cells to eat themselves. We must eat less. We have to eat as little as possible to allow our immune system to do the work it needs. But as I stated in food addiction, you cannot do that on a long-term basis if you're feeling all these withdrawal symptoms. Yeah, you couldn't have designed a better diet than had you paid the devil himself. That's why that's why the sad standard American diet, that's why I call it the satanic American diet. The idea of sharply reducing caloric intake to unlock certain health benefits is one that's been around for years. Well, animal studies have shown that calorie restriction has anti-aging value. Researchers are still understanding how that benefit can translate to humans. Cutting back on calories could be unsustainable for us in the long run and increase the risk of muscle and bone density loss, warn scientists. Let me repeat this again, because this is the stupidity of depending on man. Researchers are still understanding how that benefit can translate to humans, the benefits of fasting. Scriptures already teach that. And I understand some of you all listening don't believe in the scriptures, but I do. And for those that do, we know, again, they're saying thousands of years ago in the scriptures, being an ancient book, it talks about the benefits of fasting. They continue to say cutting back on calories can be unsustainable. Why are they saying that? Because they believe that toxic hunger is hunger. They don't know anything. So these are scientists, and people trust in these men. These are fallible men, but because they have a title, they're viewed as God. And this is the type of system they want us to worship. They're idiots. They don't know anything. Caloric restriction is not unsustainable. It's very sustainable. It's a necessity in America. We're not living in times of feast and famine anymore. We're living in one big food orgy. Caloric restriction is necessary, but I do agree it is unsustainable on a conventional diet. Why? Well, for the ones who have greatness within them that have kept up with all of my videos, you know why. Because if you're not nourished, if the body is not nourished, it creates withdrawal symptoms, toxic hunger, hunger pains. And so it makes it impossible to go a long time on a restriction, because then you'll end up binging. But when you eat to live, when you pound home those G bombs, you get the nourishment you need that allows you to not have a need for food. And it takes away those convoluted cravings until you feel true hunger. Again, I talked about all that in food addiction. So these scientists don't know what they're talking about. Increase the risk of muscle and bone. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. They all fat and sick themselves. So they did look at caloric restriction on colorectal cancer. And they used this method called autophagy. Autophagy is the process by which cellular material is degraded and recycled. It allows the cells to remove damaged components so they can be used for cell repair. Through autophagy, cells can maintain homeostasis. This is very important. So there's an earlier study that reported that glucose reduction, glucose is sugar, can extend the lifespan of normal cells. So this is important. So they're showing this, but then they're saying that caloric restriction is unsustainable. So what do? Well, I've given you all the answers. While inhibiting the growth of precancerous cells, to compare the changes in protein expression and phenotype caused by glucose and bovine serum restriction, the researchers used a high throughput 3D cell culture model for colorectal cancer. They also assessed how calorie restriction can affect apoptosis and autophagy in the cell culture model. The researchers found that both glucose and serum restriction can influence the expression of proteins linked to cancer progression and metastasis. That's the process of which cancer spreads. Technically, if it has not spread, it's not cancer. If something's cancerous, that means it's spreading all over. So really, if it hasn't, it's just a tumor and is not as much of a threat. That not as much of a threat, that's what the mammograms detect. But anything that's detected by a mammogram, they scare the women and tell them that it is cancer. So they can prey on their fear, and that fear turns them into patients worth millions of dollars. They also note that caloric restriction causes upregulation in serotonin, which is a protein inhibitor of activated STAT1. Activated STAT1 is known, SIRT-1 or SIRT1, that one is known for its ability to repair DNA damage and suppress tumors. This other one, STAT1, is a kinase involved in a variety of cellular processes, including tumor suppression. Caloric restriction also causes the downregulation of multi-drug resistant protein, zinc finger and BTB containing protein 7A. Multi-drug resistant proteins, while essential in certain pathways in the body, can increase the resistance of cancer cells to drug therapy. In summary, the researchers found that caloric restriction not only increased autophagy rates, it also affects the regulation of certain proteins that play a role in cancer progression. So the caloric restriction diet, once again, proven to extend lifespan, very powerful in protecting against cancer. Now, when you reduce your calories on a portion control diet, the results are minimal. So we want to reduce our calories, and then we want to also fast in between meals. And that's why we have an explosion of intermittent fasting. And we have some people who are going on the 5-2 diet, which means 5 days a week you eat normally, and then on the other 2 days you eat 500 to 600 calories on that day. And they're showing huge benefits with this, especially with fighting cancer. If you don't get the cancer cells, nothing to feed. It's the same with autoimmune disease. That's why for those of you all who have autoimmune disease or genetic predisposition to autoimmune disease is similar to cancer, both of them are the immune system out of whack. That's why I recommend for both that not only do you get the immune system boosting supplement I have, but that you also get the anti-cancer supplement. But the anti-cancer supplement I have, if you have autoimmune disease or HIV, you need that one. Or anything that has to do with the immune system. Those are immune deficiency diseases, cancer, and any autoimmune disease you have. So that's why I always recommend that you get both of those supplements. So we want to eat as little as possible when we do eat, and then we want to go as long as possible without eating. And that is unsustainable unless you eat a nutrient-dense, plant-rich diet. It is impossible to eat in a manner which is as little as possible in a way to protect against cancer and heart disease and all these other diseases unless you learn about the 12 components of food addiction and learn how to defeat them. That's the only way. And I have all of that information in my 24-part video series. I did an article for each part on food addiction on my Facebook page, The Minister of Wellness. Why? Because I want your success story. Sister sent me a success story today about how she's lost 20 pounds. Success stories are rolling in. If you lose 50 or more pounds, please submit your testimonial. If you lose 50 or more pounds under my teachings, or if you reverse any diseases under my teachings, please, the Minister Nathaniel at theministerofwellness.com, or you can just reach me through my website and I will send you a free book or DVD, a free book or DVD. And all of my books and DVDs and the supplements that I just mentioned, the Immunotech anti-cancer supplement, theministerofwellness.com, where you can purchase all of them. And those are considered donations to Ministry of Wellness, Inc. And for those who can't, who want to donate, but can't afford to donate by purchasing a product, another excellent option is Cash App, $Minister of Wellness. Again, my Cash App is $Minister of Wellness. For those of you all who lose 50 or more pounds, I really hope you and everyone else can come out January the 4th so you can share with each other and inspire others at this event that I'm having January the 4th right here in St. Louis, Missouri. So please start to make your plans and travel arrangements now to come to St. Louis, Missouri. And for those of you all who lose, the early bird special is only $15. That rate will stay the same. So if you've lost 50 or more pounds on my program and you want to come out, the tickets will just be $15. And we're trying to think of other incentives because I really want to get you all there, especially for those of you all who have lost 50 more pounds, reverse diabetes, reverse heart disease. I mean, what a beautiful thing it would to have 100 of you all there to be there. So that's January the 4th, 2K20, weightloss.eventbrite.com. If you cannot make it, then NathanielJordan.com. That's the website to share with organizations in your area that can partner with me so I can come out there and do a health seminar in your city. Please like, share, subscribe this video. Please like, share, and subscribe all the other videos. Thank you in advance for your support. I cannot do this by myself. We have to work together as a team. Thank you. And I hope you all live a long life in excellent health. It can be yours.
Welcome again. This is HRap B. This is a program called Build and Destroy, where I make the greatest attempt possible to build up our community and destroy all the myths around our community. That's going to be difficult work, as you know, but I'm going to take on the task. Now, Again, it is Saturday,